Hi, you're watching Word Wise Living. Check out this clip from one of my recent sermons. Cast all your anxiety on Him because He cares for you. Now, according to recent research, millions of people suffer from different forms of anxiety. Upwards of 40 million people in the U.S. alone. And that includes plenty in the church. Probably some in this room, and not just the adults. In fact, anxiety among teens and children is one of the fastest growing health concerns for their age group. Some clinical terms that you might be familiar with in regard or in relationship to anxiety might be social anxiety. Okay, this would be like being fixated on what other people think of me. And this has only been intensified by social media. Or how about this? Obsessive-compulsive disorder, or OCD. The need to have things in a certain order, or the need to perform certain behaviors repeatedly, or you just don't feel right or feel secure. Panic attacks, or these might be called anxiety attacks. This is when your body responds with a physical response to emotional anxiety, be it a racing heartbeat or sweats or shortness of breath. Perhaps you've heard of post-traumatic stress. This is the inability to properly address painful or traumatic events in your past and allowing them to sort of haunt your present life. And then, of course, there's just general anxiety, and I'm quoting from a website dedicated to these anxiety disorders, quote, when a person finds it difficult to control their worry. You know, the Bible doesn't, well, except for here, it doesn't use the word anxiety, but it does talk about worry. In all of these, anxiety is a result of carrying things that are not ours to carry, right? We are attempting to carry things that are not ours to carry. Have you ever seen a young child try to help their parents out by doing some yard work or helping out around the house, and they go to try and pick up something, whether it be a bucket or a bag of something, and it's just far too heavy for them? Right? They'll either spill it or drop it or trip themselves. That's what anxiety is like, when we are attempting to carry things that are not ours to carry. We're either attempting to control some kind of outcome, right, that is, for all intents and purposes, outside of our control, or we're worrying about something, or we're unable to deal with our past. Well, God has a solution for that. God has a solution for that, and it is a very specific solution, and it comes in verse 7 that we just read. And it begins with the word cast. Now, you know that Peter was a fisherman before he began to follow Jesus. Day after day, he would take out his boat, and he would go out into deep water, and he would gather his net up like this, and he would wind up, and then he would throw that net out into the water. And it was weighted, and it would sink, and it would trap the fish, and he would gather it back in. It's no coincidence, I think, that Peter uses this word cast and this kind of language reminiscent of his days in fishing, because the idea is to cast or to throw or to heave our anxieties away. Too often, we don't cast them. We don't throw them. Oh, we might place them down for a few hours, but we put them nice and close, so we can keep an eye on them and pick them right back up if we feel the need. Or maybe we do this thing where we allow God to hold them, but we don't actually let go of them. We sort of hold and kind of help God, by kind of carrying them along with Him. We never really let go of them ourselves. No, the instructions are very specific. Cast. But what are we to cast? Cast all our anxieties. All our anxieties. Not just the ones that sort of put us over the edge. There's a certain amount of value associated with the amount of stress someone can endure. Isn't there? Like, oh yeah, my stress level, I can handle a lot of stress. Yeah. There are some that wear stress as like a badge of honor because it makes them seem important or busy. But being stressed is simply another form of describing anxiety. They are still things that we are carrying that we don't need to carry. Now, maybe we mislabel just having responsibilities that we have to get done with stress, but when our minds and our hearts are fixated on things that we can't control, that we are worrying about, when we have little effect on, or not being able to properly address our past, then that is anxiety, and there's no badge of honor in carrying that. We should cast all our anxiety on Him, it says. Now, there's a lot of people out there who will offer up a lot of different advice about having to let go of worry. Put it behind you. Put it out of your mind. But they're light on the specifics of where exactly we should be putting it or letting it go to. No, Peter is clear. He says, cast all your anxiety on Him. Now, the Him there is referenced to the Lord, which was just referenced in the previous verse, where it says, humble yourself under the mighty hand of God, so that He will lift you up in due time. I found more than one source, as I was doing some research this week, that recommends that people with anxiety should talk to their dog. Cast all your anxieties on Fluffy, because he can do something about it. No. We don't just cast our anxieties out into the ether. We don't just speak them into the void. No, we are casting them on Him, on God, because He is the one who has true power and control. It's important that we understand that we cast our anxieties on Him. Do you make it a regular habit of praying about the things that you are carrying, about the burdens that take up real estate in your mind, about the outcomes that you are attempting to control?